Rainbow Dash finds a Rolling Stones album by Bronytype. Rainbow Dash let the early morning wind ruffle her hair as she glided lazily above the still waking town of Ponyville. She was just about to come in for a landing when... Ouch! What the hey? Something thin hit her in the head, sending her spinning towards the ground. Looking up, while she rubbed the back of her head with her hoof, she saw an opening in the sky. Through it, she saw a weird, hairless biped. It said one thing: shit! Then the opening closed. She glared at the sky, biting back curses, before looking down to find what had hit her. She saw a square piece of cardboard. Printed on it was a weird distortion of a cake, consisting of a tire, a pizza, a clock, and a film canister. Held above, a record, and adorned with what appeared to be a miniature band of the same hairless bipeds. Humans, she believed Twilight called them. The only words printed were, "Rolling Stones, let it bleed." Huh? Weird, but cool. Picking it up and turning it over in her wings, she discovered it was a sleeve of some kind. She decided to check what was inside when she got home. Closing the door to the cloud she had made into her home, she rushed up to her room, emptying the contents onto her bedside table. She found a paper sleeve inside the cardboard one. Inside that she found... a record? It's music? She looked at her own player on the other side of the room. Should I? It did fall through that hole. I should probably give it to Twilight for study. But I'd probably never see it again. But on the other hoof, multiverse music. She thought for a moment. She got an idea. A devilish grin crossed her face. Twilight is the new ruler of Equestria. I would hate to waste her time with something so small. She giggled. She would just have one listen. She dashed over to a record player, put the disc on the turntable, set the needle and lay down to listen. As the guitar began strumming, signaling the beginning of the album, "Gimme Shelter," as she read on the sleeve. As it progressed, she found herself moving her head, tapping out the beat as she learned. She flipped it when it stopped playing and just sat there, enjoying the music. Eventually, as "You can't always get what you want" began to fade out, she sat expectantly waiting for the next. When it never came, she looked to the player. That can't be all, there has to be more. She picked the record up off the player and shook it, yelling, "Please, give me more!" She heard the door to her room open as she started yelling, "Hey Rainbow Dash, Sunburst needs you to cover a classroom. Are you yelling at a record?" It was Starlight Glimmer. The purple unicorn held her hoof to her mouth, stifling a laugh. "Have you ever heard of knocking? You told me that if we needed help at the school to just let myself in. That doesn't sound like me." "Oh really?" Starlight deadpanned. "Allow me to refresh your memory then." Firing up her horn, she projected an image of Rainbow Dash, and sure enough, "If you need help at the school, just let yourself in. Just do that cloud walking spell. I ain't hoofing the hospital bill if you fall." "Damn it, that does sound like me." Rainbow Dash face hoofed. "What were you listening to anyway?" Starlight approached the table where the album sleeves sat. "Huh, weird art. I like it." She read the text at the top. "Rolling Stones? Never heard of them. Are they new?" Rainbow rushed to the table and scooped it up. "It's nothing." Starlight gave her "Oh really" look. "Uh-huh. Rainbow, you're a terrible liar." "Am not." Starlight smirked and raised an eyebrow. Rainbow groaned. "I just admitted that was a lie, didn't I?" "Yup." "Ah! Promise you won't tell Twilight?" "Rainbow, do it!" Okay, cross my heart and hope to fly, stick a cupcake in my eye." Somewhere across Ponyville, Pinkie Pie sneezed. "Okay," Rainbow breathed out deeply. "A human dropped it to a hole in the sky. What? Starlight's tone was deadpan. Rainbow, have you been in Berry Punch's special cider again? That was one time for Celestia's sake. She shuddered at the memory of that little escapade. And no. Well, if that's true, shouldn't we talk to Twilight? She faltered at Rainbow's glare. Or not. Rainbow got an idea. Hey Starlight, you're good at magic, right? Starlight sighed. What do you want? Could you get me in touch with that human? Maybe it could get me more. You're asking me to open a rift between worlds for the sake of music? That sounds really dangerous and ill-advised. I'm in, on one condition. Just say the word. Cover for Sunburst for the week. Done. Great. I'll need some chalk. There's some at the school. On the way over, Rainbow found herself humming to the tune of Midnight Rambler. Starlight eyed her strangely, confused about the unfamiliar tone. Rainbow wore saddlebags filled with bits. She would pay the human anything they asked. The two entered an empty chess room and pushed the chairs and table to the edges of the room. Starlight left Rainbow to find someone, and as she heard Starlight returning, "Okay Trix, I need you to make sure nobody disturbs us in here. It's important. You are talking to the great and powerful Trixie. I am perfectly capable of guarding a classroom." "Thanks Trix, we shouldn't be long." Starlight opened the door to enter. Rainbow saw Trixie saluting through the gap. "Okay Rainbow, did you draw the circle exactly as it's drawn in the book? Down to the last detail. I'm not taking any chances." "Then let's do this." Her horn glowed, the circle with it. "Pass me the album. It has their DNA on it. I can use it to locate them." Rainbow nodded and handed it to Starlight. "Be careful with it." "When am I not? Don't look at me like that." The circle started to dim as a hole began to form. It expanded to the edge of the circle and stopped, rising so that it appeared as a ring in the air. Through the hole they saw a human sat at a desk, mouth hanging open. It was them. "Hey you, Rolling Stones guy." "My name is George." "Yeah, whatever. Give me your Rolling Stones albums." "Excuse me?" He sounded indignant. "Listen, Rainbow Horse, you give me my property back." He got up and started walking toward the portal. "I'll pay you." "I said no." She threw the saddlebags full of bits through the portal. The contents spilled on the floor, and he stopped in his tracks. Is this gold?" "Yes," Rainbow answered as if it was the most obvious thing in the world. "I'll go get those albums." Rainbow gaped. "That's it?" Starlight chirped in. "I'm with Dash on this. You're just handing them over?" "Of course. Hell, have my whole collection. I can buy them back and more with the money this'll get me." Huh? Rainbow and Starlight said in joint astonishment. Starlight snapped out of it first and stepped through the portal. "I'll go help. This will only hold for a couple more minutes, and there's probably a lot." About a minute later, Starlight returned with Rolling Stones guy carrying 3 cases. She stepped into the classroom. "Bye George, thanks for the records." She waved a hoof goodbye. "No, thank you for all this." He picked up the bits and giggled like a filly. "Thank you, strange little horses." And with that, the portal closed. Starlight spoke first. "He seemed nice." Yeah, look at this." She beckoned her over. The 3 cases were opened. She saw names like Queen, the Beatles, AC/DC, etc. All bands she'd never heard of before, and of course Rolling Stones. Starlight approached her. "Do you mind if I copy these? They're unique in this world and I would like some for myself for curiosity's sake." "Yeah, no problem." Starlight's horn glowed and she shot her beam at the cases. They were instantly doubled, contents and all. "Hey Trix, you can come in now." The door opened. Starlight pointed to the 3 copy cases. "Could you put those in my office while I help Rainbow get these to her house?" Trixie nodded and picked them up before heading down the hall. Starlight turned to Rainbow. "Let's get going, and you're showing me that album you were listening to earlier. I want to know what was worth all this." album trailed off as the needle lifted. Starlight sat there, wide-eyed. Rainbow? Yes? That was worth it. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed what you heard, please consider joining my Patreon, patreon.com/TMFF, to get early access to audiobooks and to be able to request I do a reading of what you want, provided the author approves. Thank you to Artlist.io for providing the massive music and sound effect library that I have to work with. And most of all, thank you to the Bronies who write the amazing stories that inspire me to make these. Fluttershy and Izzy are best ponies. I now have a Discord server where you can join in and chat with other fanfiction fans. If you enjoy what I do, you can donate to me on Ko-Fi, links in the description.